Welcome to Ellen Ruth Soap. I'm Ellen, and today I'm going to do something new for me that I have never done before. I'm a little nervous. I'm a little excited. We are going to attempt to pipe soapy flowers, like intricate, like roses, peonies, carnations, like really detailed flowers. I've been watching a ton of YouTube videos on cake decorating because the consistency of buttercream frosting that they use to make the flowers, you know, when you see them with the piping bag and they're doing all the stuff, that's about the consistency of the soap batter that we're going for today. I do have a soap frosting piping recipe that I formulated. It's a little heavier on the hard oils and butters, so it's going to be a nice thick batter. I will share it down in the description box below. And I tell you what, I reached out to Katie Carson at Royalty Soaps and asked her, do you fragrance your soap frosting? Because she, hands down, is like the frosting queen. It's just, her soaps are gorgeous and her frosting is always the perfect consistency. And she said, no, they don't fragrance it. And I think that's brilliant because fragrance is your factor of, it can speed trace, it can slow trace. It adds an element to the soap batter that doesn't always lend itself to piping or, you know, frosting. So I thought that was brilliant. I'm going to take her advice. I'm not going to scent this batter. Today we're just getting our toes, dipping our toes in the pool of fancy soap piping. So to do that, I bought this kit on Amazon. It comes with some piping bags. It has 8 different tips, and these are like petal tips where you can do, I'll show you. Let me see if I can open this up. I'll show you some of them. Anyway, there's 8 tips in here, and it comes with a little scanny code so you can look at their tutorial how to use them. And I just thought it was a nice kit with enough variation to kind of get me started. So there is one tip. I think you would use that for like a carnation type petal or a peony type petal. And then the big ones like that you do to make a rose petal. And there's 8 of them, all different sizes and shapes. So I'm going to have fun. I'm going to really have to go study my videos again and see which tips I want to pull out and use. I probably won't use all of them, but I've got enough variation where I can probably select the right ones for the flowers I want to do. So I am going to color. I'll split off the batter into different sections and color them so that I can have some. I'm thinking of Valentine's Day, you know. I'm thinking of a romantic soap is what I'm hoping. I can get enough flowers to plant on the top of a loaf of soap to make a really romantic loaf of soap. That's what's in my mind. So if I get some good flowers that are worthy of being used, then I will make a loaf of soap to put them on top of. But first we got to make the flowers. And I'm planning on probably having some fails in here. I'm not going to edit those out. If I fail, if I smush stuff, I'll show you everything. I'm just looking forward to this. I love having challenges and trying something new, and this is definitely new for me. I have never done a super intricate flower before. So I'm hoping these piping tips will make it a little easier, and I'm hoping watching all the tutorials that I've watched. I don't have the steadiest hands in the world, so we're going to see how it goes. You're coming with me. Let's see if we can make some beautiful romantic flowers. And I'm thinking roses and peony style is what's in my mind, what I've seen. So there's only one way to find out. I've got to get everything pulled together, and let's come back and attempt to make some beautiful soap flowers. All right, I'm just pulling everything out to get ready to do the flowers. I've got my oils here measured out. We'll talk about that. I have my lye off in an ice bath cooling. So I wanted to talk about the equipment, the piping tips I've chosen, all the nitty gritty here before we get into it. And I'm really bummed. I had 2 cups of coffee this morning, so I hope my hands are steady enough to do this. So I've got the piping bags, and here are the tips out of the little kit. This one with the kit I have is called a 125. And so that's what that looks like. And we'll talk about how I'm going to do it. You put the big side down to make the petals of a rose. So rose buds and roses with petals. This is what I'm going to be using. And then these 2 little guys, I can't quite tell the difference. The openings look really similar to me. These are to make a chrysanthemum. This one is a 30, and this one is a 19. So this one's shorter, but to me, I guess the 19 looks a little bigger. I might go with this one, but these are for the chrysanthemum type flowers. So we got that, got the piping bags. Let me talk about these little guys here. If you don't know, this is called a frosting nail. So funny, it doesn't look like a nail, but there it is. And you hold, I'll use this big one so it's easier to see, but you hold it and then you can spin it as you're doing the piping on here. That's called a frosting nail. And then here are little pre-cut tissue papers, which you could definitely cut your own out of wax paper, which makes getting the soap off of the nail here easier if you have it on a little piece of paper, and then you can just slide it off onto your tray. And you should have a tray or something to put your flowers on, or if you have your soap loaf already made, I guess you could go straight on there. So the papers are supposed to slide right off. If they don't slide off, I have these little putty knives that I can use to scrape them off and help me get them down on the tray without destroying the hard work I've done. I'm not sure which one I'm going to use. Maybe I'll use the big one. I'm not sure. Anyway, we'll decide that later. So I've got the papers. I've got the frosting nails. The nails came with this little bristly brush to clean, I think, for the piping tips. It's a piping tip cleaner, so that's handy. That came with the kit. I'll leave a link for the ones I bought down below. And again, I just have these little artist putty style knives that I can use if I need to pick up a flower or manipulate it all. I thought these would be handy to just have ready in case I need them. So that's the tools. Let's talk about the colors. Let me get this out of the way first. This baby grasshopper green, I'm going very pastel and muted today. So this is my lightest color green, and I might add a little bit of titanium dioxide in here. I want a really pastel, but I won't be using this until tomorrow when we make the soap loaf. I'm going to pipe some leaves around my flowers. So that's going to be for my leaves. I'm going to set that off to the side for the flowers I'm making today. Again, pastel, so I'm going to go very, very light on these colors, like maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon. And this is a tiny batch. I'm going to be using lemon sherbet mica. Do you say sherbet or sherbet? Anyway, that's a debatable subject. Just this beautiful yellow. It's light. Now this mica, I have used it a couple times before. It is lovely, but it discolors really. It has a color morph. When it hits the soapy lye solution, it gets really weird and then it bounces back. So don't be shocked if this goes sideways as I'm making the batter. So that's one color. I also want to use some shimmer gold mica just because I think it would be pretty, just a touch. So that'll be a color. And then I have my French silk stockings. This is also from Wholesale Supplies Plus. And it's beautiful. It's like ballet slippers. It's beautiful. So yeah, this Wholesale Supplies Plus, this one is from Nurture Soap, which is now called Nurture Handmade. Love them. And then this one is from Rustic Essentials. So there are the colors. Now I've got to go check my lye water and see if we are ready to roll. All right, we're back. This is our lye solution. Here's our oils. I'm going to tell you real quick in ounces what I'm doing, but it will be written down below in grams and percentages for you all. So what I have here is 2.3 ounces of lye in 4.5 ounces of water, and I did not add any bells and whistles. This is just plain lye water. And then over here, I've got 4.8 ounces of coconut oil, 4.8 ounces of palm oil, 1.6 ounces of castor, 2.4 of olive oil, and 2.4 ounces of sunflower oil. So that is the recipe I'm using. Pretty basic. I didn't add any extra additives, so just straight up. I have little cups off to the side to split the batch up for coloring. And then I have my piping bags all ready to go, just in some cups here to stand them up so I can pour the colors in the piping bags. So that is pretty much all the prep work. So I've got to quit talking and stalling. Can you tell I'm stalling? I'm so nervous to do this. I really want these to come out pretty. So you're coming with me. If these are hideous, you know, we can all have a laugh together, but let's get her done. My little mini batch here. Go. Oh, came up to emulsion nice and fast. Beautiful. All All right, we've got emulsion, so let's go ahead and split this off, and then I can blend each of these little teeny batches as much as I need to get it up to a nice thick trace, like a buttercream frosting. That's the consistency we're going for today. All right, I poured off the chrysanthemum type flower color, and it's not as thick a trace. I'm going to let it sit there because I'm going to work with my rosebuds first, and that way I have plenty of time before that hardens up. So this is a nice, medium trace right now. If I was making soap, this would be beautiful to pour, but obviously I'm looking for thick buttercream frosting, and we are not anywhere near that right now. So see, it's running off the batter here. So one way to check your frosting is to dip your spatula in, put it on the side of your container, and if it sloops down in, it's not ready. It's too liquid. It's not going to hold any shape at all. So if you, when it's thick enough and you run it on the side, it'll cling on there like a little glump, and then it's ready to go. A little glump. Yeah, that's an official word. So now it's just the waiting game, and I have to not psych myself out that we can do this. I can make these roses. Oh my goodness. All right, so I'm just going to wait and let this thicken up. All right, quick check in here. Dip my spatula in and come up. And it's sticking on the side pretty well. So I'm going to go ahead and get it in the bags. We're coming along. It just needs a few more minutes, but we're getting really close. It didn't just run down. It's clinging to the side. So let me get it in my piping bags, and then we will get to it. right, it's the next day and color me surprised. I have used this mica before and I am really surprised. This is the lemon sherbet or sherbet mica from Rustic Essentials. That is not yellow. I think it's lovely and I'm going to be happy to use these flowers, but I am really surprised that the color did not bounce back. It did lighten up. It was kind of orange yesterday. Now it's a really beautiful sort of peachy pink color, but that shocks me. So there it is. You're in the know. This did not go through gel phase. Maybe that's part of the pastel color and it didn't bounce back. I'm not sure. Because I just left these sitting out on my table and my studio is very cool. My thermometer over there says it's 57 degrees, so no gel phase on these, but color me surprised. So let me say this, I love having a little mold off to the side and I think that's quite lovely. I am going to keep this off to the side for the next step in what I have planned for these flowers, which is going to be another video next week. We're going to make the loaf and put these on top and I'm going to do piping, and then if I have leftover piping I will add it on here and make a higher bar. You could chunk this up or make little guest soaps out of this. I could unmold this, but I know I'm going to be making more frosting, and when I do frosting I always seem to have leftovers, so this is going off to the side. Let's take a close-up look at these. Let me say, for me and my personality, and I did say I had 2 cups of coffee, these were stressful. I was like, this was really stressful to make these, but they were, I will say, relatively easy. They were really fun to make and so rewarding. It's time consuming. This took a while to get all these piped on here. I'm trying to find the prettiest ones to show you up close here. But look at those. How beautiful are those? And this legit is my first time doing this kind of flower. So yeah, a little stressful, really not so hard, and you get such a beautiful finished product. I'm trying to load these on my hand here so we can see them up close and personal. I think these are going to be glorious on the top of my soap loaf. If you were doing like wedding favors, making a wedding type soap, how appropriate this is going to be. So Valentine's, love, these just scream, I love you bouquet to me. Love it. So I've got to get these off the little papers. I'll show you. They peel off really easy. No big deal. You just peel the papers off. Now look at that. Oh my goodness. There's the yellow that I thought these were going to be. I wonder why they're yellow on the bottom and not on the top. You guys, this is perplexing to me. Very interesting. Anyway, I've got to peel off all these papers. Some of these, actually, I could stack them up and recycle, but it is paper, so that's compostable too, but easy to peel off. Yeah, here's the blush, that ballet blush. I love it. Just that hint of pinky color makes me so happy. And then this is the Shimmer Gold Mica, and you could barely even see a shimmer in there, but it looks like buttercream. Oh my word, I am so tickled with these. And no 2 flowers are the same. Some of them had more open petals. I think this was one of the first ones I did, and the piping was a little looser, but I still think it came out beautiful. And then some have tighter petals. So I love the variety. Oh my goodness, color me happy. So when we come back tomorrow to do the loaf, I will be waiting to unmold the loaf, and then I will use the same piping recipe for the next phase, which is going to be frosting the top of the loaf and doing leaves around these with my pretty grasshopper mica I showed you. So that's all coming in the next video. I enjoyed this, even though I was a bit of a stress case. I was wondering if it would be relaxing piping these, like, you know, oh, slow, take your time. For me, it wasn't. Maybe if I get better at it or more familiar with it, I will find it more relaxing, but and I will try not to drink coffee next time I do this, so my hands will be a little steadier. You know, all those things factor in, right? But this was a fun project, and I am glad I challenged myself to do this. And if you have never tried soap frosting, I suggest making a little batch of soap and just playing around with it. What have you got to lose? And if it all goes sideways and gets messy, have a little mold off to the side and make yourself some bars of soap. no, no waste. You're not wasting anything by trying, right? So I want to encourage you, if you've never tried this, give it a try. If I can do it, you can. Trust me. I have no special artistic abilities. I'm challenged, and I was a nervous wreck, but yeah, we got some beautiful flowers. So all that being said, I hope you come back next week to join me for putting these down on the top of a loaf and running this to the finish line. I'm so happy with these. These would be really cute on soap cupcakes too. Think of all the ways you could apply these pretty flowers. Love it, love it. Well, all that being said, I am so glad you joined me today. If you are an experienced soap flower piper, chime in, let us know any tips. If you have a better way to do it than I did, please share. I would love to hear your input. And if you've never tried it before, again, I do hope you give it a try. And I hope you have a wonderful day. And we'll see you next week.